Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Rob here, Fully Loaded Customs. Raining out. Story of Alberta summer here so far. But anyways, got my dad down here. He's visiting here from Ontario. We were able to pull the motor and transmission, separate the cab from the frame of the 1980 Scottsdale. Just waiting for my next opportunity to go to Edmonton so I can pick up some paint for the frame. But meantime, while Dad's still here, got the 1991 Pontiac Firebird sitting behind me here. We got the new 700 R4 in the garage. So let's get the Firebird in the shop, swap out that transmission, get this thing running and driving. Stay tuned for today's video. So I've got the Firebird here. So basically, just gonna quickly pump up the tires here on the car, get it set and ready to pull in the shop. And the great thing about the shop is she ain't raining in the shop, so it's gonna be nice. But all the tires are flat. This thing hasn't started up here in a couple months either. So let's put a battery in this car, fire her up for the first time in a couple months, and pull it in the shop and get ready to swap out that 700 R4 transmission. So basically got the tires all pumped up here with air, and she's all set and ready to go here. I haven't fired this car up here probably about 3 months or so. But anyway, let's give her a good old twist on the key here. See if she fires right up. Perfect, there she is. I've got my drive, but I don't have any reverse at this point, so let's pull her into the shop here. We got the Firebird here in the shop. Like I was saying there when we were pulling it in, basically once the transmission on this thing gets hot, you lose all your gears, but what's still cool, you got the forward, so we're able to pull it in the shop here. So I'm just gonna close the doors here in the garage, jack up the heat so we can dry this all off. Soaking wet right now because of the stupid rain. So don't feel like laying in the water, get even wetter. So let her dry off for a bit here, and then let's start tearing out that transmission. So back here in the shop here the next day, it was Canada's Day yesterday, so I ended up going to the fireworks. But now that that's all over, it's time to build some wheel cribs here today. So had all these 4x4s and 2x4s here laying around in the shop, sitting under the stairs. We were going to use the jack stands first, but since I had all this extra lumber laying around, figured might as well make some wheel cribs out of it, because my other ones are underneath the cab of the truck there right now. So Dad's just outside. Dad's just working on building up a couple sets here of the wheel cribs, and then once those are all completed, we'll jack the car up, put the wheel cribs underneath the tires, get underneath there, pull the other transmission down. So in the meantime, while Dad's working on that, I got the new 700 R4 transmission here. This is out of a two-wheel drive truck, so we will have to take the rear tailpiece off here, change that out for the one that's on the Firebird here. So I'm going to clean this up here, and then once this is all washed down and cleaned up here too, also going to give it a shot of the enamel paint here as well, and make it look a little bit better before we toss it up underneath the Firebird. So let's get to scrubbing down the transmission. So we've got the fresh Kijiji rebuild here. I think that's what it's called up here in Canada. In the States, I think you'd call that a Craigslist rebuild. But I got some fresh paint on there now. Notice I missed a spot underneath there. I'll have to touch up. But didn't do this back piece because this will be getting taken off, and the Firebird piece will be getting swapped out for that tail section there on the transmission. But anyway, that's all set and ready to go. Dad's over here getting the wheel cribs ready. So gonna put the camera down here now and go give Dad a hand with those, get this all set up, ready to go. From that point, we can get those wheel cribs in here, jack the Firebird out and start turning over that other transmission. So, hey guys, thanks for being patient with me there too. Been having a crazy busy past couple months. Done a ton of artwork for the art galleries here. I had 2 art show exhibitions that I did probably about 30 pieces of artwork for here too. We also tore down the 1980 Scottsdale here at the front clip of this truck here in primer there too. Got it all set and ready to go. And while I'm waiting to go to Edmonton there in the next couple of days, pick up internet equipment and pick up the paint for the frame on the truck. Dad's still here, so we're tearing into the Firebird today. Getting the transmission done, bringing you another video on the 91 Firebird. Because I know a lot of people have been wondering what's going on with this car here too. So pretty much when we get this thing running and driving, I can get this thing cut up, welded on, painted, make it look really nice when it's all done. So anyways, I think we'll give Dad a hand with the wheel cribs here. Catch you guys back in a couple minutes. We'll be jacking up the car, getting it ready to pull that transmission. All right, cool. So me and Dad gone ahead here. We got the Firebird jacked up on the wheel cribs. The wheel cribs, basically like I was saying, I had all this 4x4 lumber just sitting underneath my stairs over there. So the only thing I had to go buy was a couple of 2x4s and a bag of screws. And it came out to about $20. So we spent a little bit of time here, got these all together. So what this did is it gave us a 25-inch clearance from the ground to the bottom of the rocker here. So just slide in underneath here. Take a look and see what we're working with here. So underneath the car, she's pretty solid. There's really not much rust. And then if I was in Edmonton, I would love to get the frame paint. I could probably sandblast this all right now and paint it. But anyways, we're going to remove the transmission first. Worry about the paint later on. So from this point here, the first thing I basically want to do is get the drive shaft here out of the way, remove the bolts here. And then basically just start working your way towards the transmission. There's a couple bolts over here on the torsion bar to remove. And all the brackets here on this piece of the transmission here. Attaches here to the exhaust. A couple brackets here to remove. Over here, I believe it's up here where my finger is here. Throw some light on that situation. There we go. And up over here, got to remove that bolt there as well. And a couple electrical connections that you can see up to over here. There's a couple electrical connections there. Cooler lines that are on this side, but we'll worry about those once we get the cross member removed and drop down. Then we can get access to the 6 bolts that are on the upper housing there too. Get those removed. It'll tilt down a bit. We can get the cooler lines off and everything else. So basically at this point, gonna throw some knocker loose on the bolts there. Let that sit for a bit to loosen those up so I'm not struggling with them. It's always nice. And then we're gonna get to removing ourselves the transmission. So I'm just gonna spray the bolts here with the knocker loose. This is what I usually use just for the penetrating solvent. I find it's really good, excellent. The video is not sponsored by them, but sponsors, if you're out there and you maybe have a better penetrating solvent, give me an email, let me know. I'll test your product out on the channel. But for now, knocker loose does a fantastic job. So go ahead and spray these nuts here. spray them down, let those soak up here for a bit. Same with the other ones that are up front here. Let those soak down for a bit, and we'll come back and start breaking some bolts. Go ahead and start dropping all the stuff in the transmission, drive shaft, and that. Just got my suction piece here. Just going to suck out as much fluid as I possibly can. That way when we go and take the dipstick off, the tube and everything else, kind of keeps the spills to a minimum. There's less fluid in there. So go ahead and here I'll suck out as much transmission fluid as we can, and then we'll get to moving the drive shaft. So the first bolts you want to grab here, give me the ones on your drive shaft to get this out the way. So 11 mil, 7/16. That's the wrench sizes that are going to fit on this here. So just got the car lowered down on the block so it's not going to twist. Turn on us and go ahead here and take off these 4 bolts here. There'll be 1, 2 right here, and then basically just rotate the drive shaft. Get your other ones here, there too. That'll pull out, and then it will slide right out of the tail shaft piece here too. Just gonna throw some something on the ground there, catch that little bit of transmission fluid. It's probably gonna drop out of there. So I got those tires just raised off the block there a bit. I'll be able to grab the drive shaft and rotate it here to free up and put those bolts in the location I need them here, just so I can crack those and get those removed there too. Perfect, so I got the drive shaft all loosened up here. So just had to stick this, that bar in between there, just so you can free it up. So now it's freed up, you can push it forward, drop her down. Just basically push your drive shaft forward. She can come down and that'll pull right out of the drive, or the tail shaft piece. But because I drained all the fluid before we started doing this, I've got no leaks here now and nothing's pissing out of there, which is always nice. So it didn't end up with a huge mess. Got the torque arm we're removing here next. So there's just a couple bolts right here. They just back up top there. Got that backed up with a 13/16, 21 down here to zip these off at the impact. They're gonna come off nice and easy. And then once we're done there, there's just a couple bolts here to remove on the tail shaft piece, and the torque arm will drop out of the way. So I was removing the two bolts here on the torque arm. And what was happening is they were hitting the body up here in this point when you were trying to push the bolts up. They were hitting the body up here. So what we did is we just put a couple pieces of wood here on the parts of the frame here, just to jack the body up while the tires are still on the wheel cribs here, and that way we're able to slide these bolts up and get these removed. So if you come across this issue, that's all you got to do. Just raise the body up and you'll be able to pop these bolts out of place. So now we got the bolts removed here on the inner side of the torque arm. When you come over here to the front portion, you've got 2 bolts up in here and third one over there on the top. To remove those, we put a 15 on it. That's what seems to be working here pretty good, because this was spinning, so we put a wrench on it. And the socket piece, we're able to twist this off. So we'll go ahead and we'll get those 3 removed. Should be able to push the or pull the torque arm off once those are taken apart. Should come off there now. Yeah. And just the one on the top. Perfect. So now that we got all the bolts taken off the torque arm bushing here, got that pushed out of the way, we're going to remove the cross member here next, so we can get the cross member down. That'll enable us to drop the transmission here, so we can get the rest of the arm out of the way. And then from there, we'll come to the front, remove the torque converter cover here, and then stick a bar in the crank there in the front. We'll be able to rotate this and get the 3 bolts that are on the torque converter here. And we'll also have to take off the unplug the speedometer cable and stuff like that, and also take the shifter linkage off the transmission pan here too. So we'll go ahead and start removing this cross member here too, and probably toss some foam blocks or whatever else on the jack underneath the transmission pan, so we can slowly lower this to the ground. Yeah, we'll put the jack underneath the transmission pan here in a second. I'll get these other 2 just loosened up. So just a couple of 10mm bolts are on the torque converter cover here. Quickly get those out of the way. Same time I'm down here, should probably change that starter. I got a brand new starter sitting on the shelf. It'd probably be smart to change that. Well, everything's up in the air here, so pretty sure once we have everything pulled out the way, we're gonna end up changing the starter here at the same time. But for now, I'll get these last couple torque converter bolts out the way, pull that cover down, and lower up the transmission here. There we go, that's the last one. Cover out the way. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to unplug the speedometer cable from the transmission here. It also unplugs from up here as well as another one. So that wiring harness is good. Put that out the way. Dad's gone ahead, he's broken the bolts here too. We're gonna have to take this linkage piece off here. The transmission I got's for a truck, so we're gonna need this one here for the Firebird. So I'll be able to loosen that off here too. Get that out the way. Take those 2 bolts off here too, so I can pull the linkage piece out of the way as well. I think he's already gone ahead and loosen these up, so we can get those removed there too. And from there, I've got it supported here now. We can grab the last 2 bolts that are on the cross member. I think that's what it's called at the moment. But get those basically removed here too. Drop this down and get to the last 3 bolts on the torque converter. And I think there's six bolts up on the housing here. There we go, and should be the last bolt to undo here to get the linkage out the way. Also have 2 transmission cooler lines on the other side of the transmission to take out there as well. But now that should free that up. There it is. So we'll have to swap this piece out on the other transmission there too. So this works here for the Firebird. Perfect. Right on. There. Go ahead and turn. Okay.
Again?
Yeah, go ahead, Dad. Oh, yeah. One more rotation here, and then a bolt will come around here for us. Yeah, you're good to rotate. Stop right there. Perfect. So I'll go ahead and get that 1 bolt out. Perfect. There There's that first one there, Dad. So we can throw the bar back on here and spin it again. Okay, perfect. That's on. Turn it again. Yeah, stop. There's our bolt right there. Okay. Just if you... Okay, so we finally got this other bolt off here. And I guess the last time this was put on, we got a thread locker in there. So we've been having to back the bar up here on the crank so I can twist it and break it here with the socket and also the bar extension here too. But now that we got that all done here, basically we just have to get the last bolt here and we're set to go. Okay. Yeah, there we go. We broke it there that time. But we got this last one here off there now. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's the 3 off the torque converter. Now we've got 6 bolts left to take out. There's one here, one right above it. And I don't know if you can see this or not. Probably not. Because it's a little bit close down here. But on top of the bell housing unit there's the 6 bolts. 2 on the top, 1 over here, and 1 right there. I've already gone ahead and I've already removed this one here. I'll go ahead and I'll try and get the one on top of it now. Same with the one at the very, very top. Just have to use a bunch of extensions to get up there. So I got the top bolt here. So as you see, you got to put, I got 1, 2, 3 extension pieces here, and also the knuckle at the very top there too to get a hold of this one. So on the driver's side, we've got the top one, the very bottom one. There's just the middle one here left to do. So on the other side of the transmission here, there's the dipstick tube here that had to be removed. Turned out to be a pain in the ass to get that. And anyways, same with a couple transmission cooler lines there as well. So we got the whole transmission free now. So basically you just pull it back, clear the starter here, and we should be able to drop it down and take it completely out. So got the transmission all removed here. Forgot to hit record on that, but got the old transmission out here now. Not gonna lie, this was a pain in the ass to get this piece here. So especially because it was jammed up against the firewall, this one here, and same with the other one on the other side. The tops weren't terrible. You just had to make a long extension piece that basically went all the way back out here in order to get to those. But we got them out. It's all set and ready to go here now. So basically we can swap out the tail shaft piece, unbolt that, throw it onto the new 700 R4, and at the same time, I had a brand new starter I picked up for this car when I did the Will It Run video on it. It's been sitting on the shelf here for a bit, but I figured since we got all this wide open space here now underneath the Firebird, it's going to be super easy to get to the starter here, change it out, especially because it's right there. Nothing else is in the way. Might as well put the new starter in here as well. So while I was also down here, kind of noticed now that I got all this open space and the transmission's gone and the torque arm's gone and the drive shaft's gone, and I have the opportunity, might be the best time to get the wire wheel out here and a wire wheel take care of this little bit of loose rust I got going on over here on both sides. Same with the back as well. Wire wheel basically what I can, and I think it might be the best time to clean up and paint underneath the Firebird here while I have the opportunity. So I think tomorrow I'm going to go down to Napa. Napa's got something called Metal Pro. It's not quite as nice as the Endura is. It's about $300 cheaper though. And I can get it here in Cold Lake. So I think what I'm going to do is go down there tomorrow. We're going to pick it up and I'll clean all this stuff up here. I'll spray underneath the car with the Metal Pro. It is a rust-proof inhibiting paint thing. And if it's not quite as nice, I'll give it a shot of clear coat on top. Make it really nice and shiny. Clean it up underneath the car here. So, yeah, because I'm about 350 kilometers, 252 miles from Edmonton. So, can't pick up the Endura. But anyways, let's get the wire wheel out, start grinding down this old metal so we can start spraying her down. Went and took the grinding wheel here now. Really got rid of all that, the loose rust, the loose flaky stuff that was sitting in here. Anyways, got most of it here. There's a little bit here left to go. I'll hit that with the grinding wheel in a bit. On the other side of the exhaust, there's a bit more here too. I'll have to get in there with a wire brush. Later on, once I replace the exhaust and stuff, I'll bring this down. I'll probably re-hit this and spray it again. Because truthfully, this wasn't really on the plan. The plan was just to change the transmission because my dad's here, and dad's only here for a couple weeks or so. So the main thing here is, well, I got dad's hand. Let's get the transmission in here. I can come back when I'm painting the car and touch up stuff like that later on, such as this other place I'll show you here in a second there too. On the other driver's side here, I did find a hole right there, and there's also much bigger one right here as well. But pretty much when I come back to go paint the car, then I'll jack it back up and I'll cut this out because I don't got no welding gas right now. And dad's only here for a little bit, so spend some time with him, hang out for a bit. But grateful that he's giving me a hand here to swap up the transmission because it's a heck of a lot easier. We got two people to do stuff. So anyways, probably just going to hit whatever I can now with 80 grit, such as up in here, just to give it a quick scuff. So it's scuffed up or whatever, create a better adhesion. And then we're just going to give it a shot of the rust inhibiting paint, see how that holds up, and basically make this thing look a whole lot better. I think I a rag with some degreaser and stuff. Probably clean this up here too, give it a scuff with 80 grit up in here. Let's, later on, I'm going to remove the exhaust. I would like to put a MagnaFlow exhaust on here. When I do that, I'll unbolt this stuff here too, touch it up underneath, see how it is. Same with the back there too, just don't want to cut this off right now. So I'll go ahead, we'll start scuffing everything up with some sandpaper here, and then clean up underneath all the grease and stuff like that the best I can. And once that's all done, basically get ready to spray some paint. Sand underneath there too. Took the rag with some degreaser and some reducer, gun cleaner afterwards. Wiped off all the grease that was underneath it that I could find. Quickly sanded that there too once it was all cleaned up. So at this point in time, got this ready to shoot underneath, so it should adhere to the bottom of the car pretty good here. But I just realized here too, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning. So I've got work tomorrow. So I got two options here. It's either shut her down or jump out of the car and paint it. And if I'm late, I'm late. So anyways, we're going to go ahead over to the table now. We're going to mix up the paint for spraying underneath the Firebird. So this is the Metal Pro. This is the paint that I picked up here from Napa that I was saying. It's probably about 116 bucks a can. That's in Canadian dollars too. So basically, it's urethane based, it's direct to metal, high build solids, it's rust proof. From what I was told from the Napa representative, he told me that this is basically Napa's version of Pour 15. So we're going to test it out, see how good it is. So anyways, I'm probably spray this through my primer gun. Should do a pretty good job. I was told it's also supposed to be glossy black. So hopefully it is. If it's not, we're going to make it glossy. Shoot some clear coat over top of it. Should do a pretty good job. So anyways, we'll go ahead, start putting this in the spray gun so we can start spraying it because I got work tomorrow and it's 120 something. But, you know, if it don't work out, I just might have to reschedule everything because some things are just more important than work. That's how it is. Anyways, let's go start spraying some paint. 3 o'clock in the morning here. I'm going to be late for work tomorrow. But anyways, fantastic news. We got the underside of the Firebird all painted here. So let's get you guys underneath the car, see how this product turned out. So here's how it turned out underneath the car here. So it's got a pretty good gloss on it. It's not bad. Flip you underneath here to the floor pan. It's got a pretty good gloss on it. It is dry to the touch already here. It's only been about 25 minutes probably since I painted it, but it's got a nice gloss on it. And it was super easy to spray. Spraying it in the primer gun, really had no issues spraying this here. It looks 1,000% better up underneath the car here right now, opposed to all that flaky rust and stuff. There is like I said before, there is a rust hole that's over here. I will fix that when I go to paint the entire car. But for now, dust played really nice. The overspray is super minimal. Overall, pretty happy with it. We'll let it dry overnight here and see if it's like a rubberized material or if it turns rock solid by the morning. Pretty much going to do it for me here this evening. Got the underside of the Firebird all painted up here. She's looking really good underneath the car. I got work probably in about 4 hours from now. But for some reason, my first job is kind of be pushed off until about noon so I can sleep in a bit. Because there's more important things that need to be done. Sometimes just got to push work off a little bit, you know. Do things for fun that you enjoy. It's worth it. So anyways, Dad's gonna come out here tomorrow. He's gonna put the new starter in the Firebird there tomorrow while I'm working. I probably got about 36 hours worth of work to do here in the next couple of days. But I think it's on Monday, which is a couple of days from now. I get a day off. We'll be right back here in the shop. We'll get the new 700 R4 installed up into the Firebird. Catch you guys in a couple of days. So gone ahead and installed the new tail shaft piece here on the transmission. Getting ready to put it in the car here. Just thought I'd show you underneath one more time, just to show you how that Napa product turned out. So that Napa product turned out pretty nice here. Wasn't too bad. The Endura that I sprayed the trailer with, that for sure has way more shine to it. I think when I come back underneath the car here and I repair this section, when I go to paint the car, and I got some welding gas because I'm empty right now. When I go to repair this section here of the car, when I go to paint it, I'm also going to touch up these floor pans on each side here too, spray them with the Endura so I got a lot more shine to it. But overall, the product's really good. It was only like 116 bucks, as you can see in the reflection here on the top left screen. It does got a nice little reflection. The Endura though, it definitely is a bit shinier. So anyways, wanted to show you that before I start tossing the transmission in. All our tools set up here, ready to go now. So let's get the tossing in the new 700 R4 into the Firebird.
Rest in there.
Yeah. We're going to throw that piece of wood underneath there to jack it up. Okay. Starting to put the transmission back here in place. So basically what we did to make this pretty easy is we slid the transmission underneath the car, just on the platform, and then once we got underneath the car, we jacked it up in place. Once we got it high enough here, we put the jack stand underneath the tail shaft piece and hooked the strap here to the frame underneath the pan section here. Lowered that so the transmission was held in place, and that way we were able to slide our piece of wood here on top of our steel plate. So now we had the proper height to put the transmission back in place. So now we got that all done, gone ahead. We've got the two transmission cooler lines put in place here, got the dipstick tube put in place, and from here, basically going to raise the transmission up here now, start mounting up the transmission housing bolts, and at the same time too, we're going to reattach the torque arm here as well. Coming up on the transmission there. Yeah, this one's going on this side here. Just putting those transmission housing bolts back in place here. So you got your bottom one right here. There's your other one on top of it. And at the very top, you kind of see the hole right there. That's where the third one is on the passenger side. And right now Dad's working on the other ones here. He's getting those all set in place there as well. So we're almost ready. We can pretty soon get this, pretty much right now, we can get the jack out of here. So, and we'll start working on those top two bolts to connect. Got the transmission all mounted up now on the 6 transmission housing bolts. So the top two, pain in the ass. Those took a little while messing around, pulling the transmission side to side to get those lined up, to get them tightened up. But they're all set in place there now, especially this one here on this side, the passenger side, to align it to with the clips and the dipstick clip there as well. Pain in the ass. But anyways, got these all set up now, so now it's on to putting the 3 bolts here on the torque converter. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Okay. And yeah, go again. Okay, stop. Okay, that's good. I'll put that bolt in.
Right there.
Yeah.
You gotta take it off and come back here.
That should be on there now. Okay, one more turn. Good. Okay, good. Gone ahead and put the torque converter cover back in place here. Also, the shifter linkage here has been put back in place here too. 2 bolts on the pan here, 1 more right there on the side of the transmission. Got it plugged in here, 1, 2 as well. Just going to bolt up the bolts here on the torque arm bushing here. Get that all set in place. Throw the torque arm back up and put the drive shaft back on here as well. So just jacked up the transmission one more time here just to get the cross member piece on, and we've gone ahead and we put the torque arm. We've got that installed there as well. So as soon as we tighten down these bolts, we throw it on the drive shaft. Yep, that's in there. We got the Firebird's transmission all changed out here now, and she's all buttoned up, set and ready to go. I went ahead there and I put the car up on some jack stands so we can test out the transmission, make sure she got forward, back, reverse and such. Make sure that's all set and ready to go. Also test that starter out, make sure she starts the car because that would suck to have a bad one out of the box. But test those things all out, make sure she's all good. If that's all good, I'm going to drain the old transmission fluid out of there, put some new stuff in, because I did get this transmission off Facebook Marketplace. She was about $200 and some, $250, something like that. So I was told it was a rebuild, probably about 40,000 kilometers ago. So we're gonna test that theory, make sure she works. So let's jump in the Firebird, see if we got some gears. Here we go for the starter check. Make sure she's all good to go here with the new starter. Perfect. So the new starter's all set and good to go here. There you go. Just gotta get it.
It's going in reverse, yeah. She engaged. She's going, yeah. She's still going, yeah. She stopped.
Cool guys, so we got reverse gear again here on the Firebird. That feels great. Dug her out of the wrecking yard there about probably almost a year ago now. She's got the new transmission in. She's got reverse gears. We fixed the problem that she went to the wrecking yard for. Got that new transmission in there now. Gonna quickly rip over to Canadian Tire here. Get some new transmission fluid. Drop the old stuff. Make sure she's all looks good underneath there too. Set the TV cable at the same time. And at that point, we also know the starter works, so that's good. We don't gotta mess around with that again. Also, me and Dad checked for some leaks here too. The leaks are all good. There's nothing leaking. So, pretty much, old fluid out, new fluid in. Drop her down on the ground. Let's go take her for a tour. Just want to get rid of all that fluid on the one side while it's still in place there. get rid of most of it. Then I'll come back in here. Take that last bolt down. Oh, okay. Perfect. Okay, just let that trip there. Got the transmission fluid here all dropped in the Firebird. Picked up some new transmission fluid. I got a new filter here. We're going to toss in the new one. We just in the new transmission we just put in the Firebird here too. Same time while it's up in the air, I'm going to change out the oil. Get some new stuff in there as well. So that's all set and ready to go. And we also set the TV cable. So quickly flip the camera around. I'll show you basically what we did for that. And I'll also leave a good video in the video description that goes more in depth about how to set up that TV cable for a 700 R4. So flip the camera around and I'll show you where we set that up and what it looks like on top of the car where the throttle body is, and also underneath the vehicle where you can see that piece in the transmission. So for your TV cable adjustments here on the 700 R4, it's going to be this right here. Basically, there's a button on this side here that pushes in. Once you push that in, this tab will either come out or come in to set the tension here on the line. So basically what we did is we set everything, and according to the one video, I'll go underneath the vehicle here now and I'll show you. Your TV cable comes down and it hooks up right here on your transmission, and there's this little tab right here, and according to that one, you just want it to be barely touching there. Like as you can see, pulling back, it's not moving, letting it go, barely touches. So whenever you give it full throttle here, she pushes that valve in all the way. Throttle body is open all the way up here right now, and when you let it out, she sits right here. So I'll show you right now. I'll disconnect this and I'll show you where the other one was on my burnt up 700 R4, and I'm pretty sure that's what the problem was. So the first time that I removed the transmission pan here in the shop and we changed out the transmission fluid on my old 700 R4 transmission, this is what we came across. Is I had this huge play before we connect with this valve here. So I had this huge gap where you could basically give it throttle and then finally would catch and push in. But on my other one that was burnt out, this is all the play that I had. According to the transmission video here that I left in the video descriptions, this amount of play will quickly burn up these 700 R4s. So that's why when we adjusted it, we wanted to make sure that it's just barely touching that valve, and that's where we set it at, right there. So we got that all set up here now. I'll go ahead and we'll connect this all back up and basically change out the oil like I said when I'm down here. We'll start putting some new transmission fluid in the car, drop her down, take it for a drive. So just quickly there too, before I continue on dropping the oil and everything else, the other way that we've seen for videos on how to adjust these online showed to press the button in that's on the side here, open up the throttle here all the way, and once that was open, you basically just press the button, and that black tab there in the center of the screen, wherever that's at that point in time, you can just release the button, it'll stay in place and you're set to go. But I found that when we were doing that up here, it still created a pretty good sized gap below where that valve was. So what we did is we just wrapped a piece of wire around here and set it according to when it touched the valve underneath by watching that valve. So anyways, I'm gonna leave that video in this video description below on how to set the TV cable for the 700 R4. I found it to be really helpful here. And basically, I'm pretty sure that's the problem with the old one, is it had that gap before it made connection with that valve underneath the transmission there. Pretty sure that's what caused the problem for it to burn up. A lot of stickers on that thing, so I'm pretty sure at one point in time it was rebuilt, but it's all burnt up now. So be sure to check that video out. Found it to be really good. So now that we got that all adjusted, set and ready to go, we go ahead, drop the old oil out, put the new oil in it, throw some new transmission fluid in there too, drop her down to the ground, and we're gonna go take this Firebird for a tour. Perfect. Okay, let that drain there too for a bit, and come back, change the oil. Oh, hey Dad, can you pass me my keys? Left them in the toolbox. Perfect, thanks. Perfect. Perfect, just double check these gears here. Well, so we got reversed, we didn't have that before. Beauty. Neutral. Drive. Perfect. Let's go take her for a rip. T-tops off. There we go. Oh, here we go. Well guys, 91 Firebird, she's up and running again here. Tossing a new 700 R4, took her for a test drive. She's running great, shifting where it needs to be. Perfect. So last year, got her running and driving, drove it out of the wrecking yard, got it back to the house here, and the rest of the backs and the transmission blew up. So, new 700 R4, in there great, she's running again. She's got this car one step closer being put back on the road. So what are we gonna do with her now? Is the next step, I'm basically gonna strip it down, paint on it, and get this thing ready to rock. So I got all the parts. We got all the hood, fenders, doors, quarter panel chunks, everything for this car to start doing all the body work, getting this thing painted. Looking forward to that. And then basically, stay tuned to the channel here. I'm gonna have some new videos coming out of the 1980 Scottsdale. Like I wasn't even gonna do the transmission in this until as we're getting ready to paint it. But my dad was over here visiting from Ontario. He was having to walk in the shop, and he's like, "What's that sitting over there?" I'm like, "Oh, it's transmission for the Firebird." He was like, "Well, wouldn't that be better if it was in the car?" I was like, "Well, yeah, it would actually." Matter of fact, it would. He's like, "Well, you're waiting for parts on the truck and you're waiting to go down to the city to pick up the paint for the frame, why don't we toss it in the next day or two when you got days off? I'm like, well, yeah, that sounds fantastic. Let's do it. So we tossed it in there, got the new 700 R4 in there, and she's ready to rock, ready to go. So stay tuned to the channels, guys. You'll be getting some new videos out of here on the 1980 Scottsdale, stripping the frame down here, getting it all painted up, getting ready to put all that truck back together. New fuel lines, brake lines, stuff like that coming in here. Getting the seats sent out to the upholstery, get those done. And half the body work's done. It's going to work on the box now. Get that thing stripped down, get it painted back in that retro style paint job. It's going to be cool. Can't wait. Looking forward to it, guys. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button, guys. Don't forget to leave your comments down below in the comments section. If you guys take the time out to leave me comments, I'm going to make sure I take the time out to reply to you. Appreciate you guys watching the channel. Appreciate you guys leaving those comments. So stay tuned to the channel here, guys. We'll be getting the 1980 Scottsdale painted. As soon as we're done the Scottsdale, we'll be either pulling in the 91 Firebird to get it painted, the 83 Camaro, or my 88 Pontiac Firebird as well. Getting one of those third gens picked up. I got a couple more third gens looking to pick up here as well for the channel. So I'm going to start building some of those there as well. It's going to be a great time. So stick around on the channel, guys. So until next time, remember, it's not Raglan, it's not custom. Catch you guys next episode. Take care.